Hey guys, Harry Thomas here, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of my reactions to your unpopular movie opinions. Part 1 was a hell of a lot of fun to make, so now part 2 is going to be the second half of the unpopular opinions that you guys are so kindly posted in my YouTube community comment section. So we still have a bit more to go, so let's get to them. Okay, Coco Bangdashian's unpopular opinions. Infinity War is better than Endgame. I would have to disagree, I'm afraid. While Endgame did make me like Infinity War better, but I would say Endgame had just a tad more crowd-pleasing moments on the whole. Return of the Jedi is my favourite Star Wars movie. I would have to disagree. Sorry, Return of the Jedi is still great, but it is my least favourite of the original three. Uh, and Madagascar 2 is the weakest Madagascar movie. I would respectfully disagree. For me, it's the second best of the Madagascar trilogy. I love how we got to know more, well, about Alex with meeting his parents and all that, and How to Train Your Dragon 1 is the best. As much as I love the first How to Train Your Dragon, I would have to disagree. Again, how the first How to Train Your Dragon would be the least impressive of the trilogy for me. I would personally rate the 2 and 3 over the first one. The Last Jedi is worse than Attack of the Clones and The Phantom Menace. Whoa, I'm sure I have my problems with The Last Jedi, but I'm not going that far, so again, I would have to disagree. Uh, and Chris Pratt is annoying in Onward. I totally disagree. Chris Pratt was awesome in Onward. That may be an even better vocal performance than Emmett from the Lego movies. And Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is underrated. Totally agree. And Attack of the Clones is the worst Star Wars movie. I would respectfully disagree. I would say Solo is the worst Star Wars movie, and the holiday special, if you count that. Uh, and Wolf is the worst DCU villain. That's not exactly an unpopular opinion. I think everybody would call Steppenwolf the worst DCU villain, but I'm not with you personally. For me, Doomsday would be the worst DCU villain. At least Steppenwolf got far more screen time than Doomsday. Incredible Hulk is the worst MCU movie. I hugely disagree. That's one of the more underrated ones. I mean, I'm sorry, but how is Incredible Hulk worse than Iron Man 2? I don't get that, but I can understand if it's your least favourite. Rise of Skywalker is the best Star Wars movie. Yes, thank you. I 100% agree. And looking deeper into movies, unpopular opinions, there are some popular movies that are not for me. Forrest Gump, The Lion King. What? Heresy. How could you not care for The Lion King? Nah, just kidding. That's okay. Casablanca, Dunkirk, Beauty and the Beast, How to Train Your Dragon sequels. What? You don't care for the How to Train Your Dragon sequels? They're the best movies ever. Just joking. That's all right. Batman 1989, The Nightmare Before Christmas, E.T. and The Goonies. Well, I uh, I well, Forrest Gump. I still have a lot of affection for. The only part I don't like about that movie is the ending, but all those other movies, I practically adore with all my heart. So yeah, disagree with the majority of those. I Am Mother is my favorite Netflix show. I have yet to check out that show, so I currently have no thoughts on it. Um, the Aladdin sequels as more to the first movie. Well, yeah, I would agree honestly. Even I mean, Return of Jafar doesn't exactly add a lot, but the King of Thieves certainly well added more to Aladdin's character by telling us his heritage and expanding the world of Agrabah, and uh, All Is Lost is one of my favorite survival movies. Never seen it, so I can't comment on it until I have. And uh, the I like Aquaman better than Black Panther. I also prefer Aquaman to Black Panther, even though they're practically the same movie. Aquaman, for me, executed the story even more epically, so I agree. Uh, and I find the Avengers 2012 inferior to its sequels. Yeah, I would have to disagree. For me, Avengers 2012 shockingly is the best Avengers movie of the four. Age of Ultron would be the weakest, and uh, the Back to the Future Part 3 is my favourite of the trilogy. Yeah, sorry, but I would disagree. For me, the first and the original Back to the Future is the unbeatable Back to the Future movie. I prefer Fantasia 2000 over the original. Yeah, I can see why, but again, I would disagree. For me, the original Fantasia is untouchable, but Fantasia 2000 is still a beautiful sequel. Uh, and I prefer Green Mile to Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, I'm not a fan of either movies, but I would overall agree that Green Mile is slightly more watchable than Shawshank Redemption, but both are a little hard hitting and mean spirited for me. Uh, and uh, I prefer Zafura to Jumanji. Disagree big time. Jumanji was far more of a part of my childhood than Zafura was. And Lego Movie 2, the second part, is my favourite animated movie of 2019. Yeah, I still adore Lego Movie 2. It's my favourite of the Lego movies, but again, I disagree. You all know How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World is my favourite animated movie of 2019. And Pan's Labyrinth should have been nominated for Best Picture. Yeah, I can see your point. It is a phenomenally made movie in terms of its art style, but I would disagree. I personally don't think it is Best Picture material, but Del Toro still did a great job. Uh, Sweeney Todd is my favourite musical. That's not exactly an unpopular opinion. Sweeney Todd has not had a single bad review. Are you talking about the movie or the musical? But I would disagree personally. I'd say Phantom of the Opera is my all-time favourite musical, and Bob, a YouTube channel's Unpopular Opinion, Shrek the Third is way better than Shrek Forever After. Disagree. Enough says. The Lion King 2019 is good and my second favourite Disney live action remake. I couldn't disagree more with that statement. I would say the first Maleficent is my second favourite Disney live action remake, but Maleficent Mistress of Evil would be my favourite of the live action remakes. Lion King remake, as you all know, is my least favourite live action remake of them all. And John Wick Chapter 3 is my least favourite John Wick movie, but still good. I personally wouldn't agree. I'd say the first John Wick is my least favorite. At least John Wick Chapter 3 had Halle Berry's character. She was a badass, and uh, Brother Bear is an underrated masterpiece. I couldn't agree more. Well said. And Infinity War is better than Endgame. Again, disagree. Kung Fu Panda is overrated. What? Yeah, I'm sorry, but I strongly disagree. Kung Fu Panda, I'd say, is more underrated because nobody talks about it in comparison to other animated classics out there. TMNT 2007 is great. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I kind of disagree. TMNT 2007 was meh to me. For me, the 2014 Ninja Turtles was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that we deserved. And The Rescuers 1977 is better than The Rescuers Down Under. Yeah, I can see why you would think that. I don't know if I would agree or not. For now, I think the first Rescuers and Rescuers Down Under are on par with one another, but I'm aware the majority favour Rescuers Down Under as their favourite. Justice League is better than Thor Ragnarok. Yep, 1,000,000% agree. And Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Frozen, Moana, and Frozen 2 are better than Wreck-It Ralph, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, and Ralph Breaks the Internet. Well, I would disagree about Moana being one of the greats, but all those other movies you mentioned, I would very much agree. And but Black Cauldron, Home on the Range, and Chicken Little are not that bad and underrated. Uh, I would disagree about Chicken Little, but other than that, I agree on the other two. Yeah, Black Cauldron is a far too overly hated and pulverized, and so is Home on the Range. They're not that bad as they, and especially Home on the Range. That movie made me laugh harder than most Disney movies in a good way. And Blue Sky is underrated. I certainly agree. Blue Sky have made some heartwarming animated features from Ice Age to the Peanuts movie and even Rio. The first Rio, not the mediocre sequel, Rio 2. Thumbelina is the most underrated Don Bluth movie. Yeah, I would agree. Thumbelina is alright for what it is. It's no All Dogs Go to Heaven or Land Before Time, but it's one of his good movies at least. Ralph Breaks the Internet is overrated. Yep, completely agree. I think everybody loves it less now than they did at the time. Crude's Home and B movie are underrated masterpiece. Oh yeah, I wouldn't say they are masterpieces. I'm not praising them to that extent, so I would respectfully disagree there. And I'm excited for the new Mario movie. Me too. So I agree. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is the best Jurassic Park movie since the original. I sort of disagree. For me, the first Jurassic World is microscopically and marginally better. I love movies, unpopular opinion. Missing Link is boring. Smallfoot and Abominable are more enjoyable. I would disagree about Smallfoot being superior to Missing Link, but I agree about Abominable being the stronger movie. So it's half and half. I wanted to see The Happening and Superman 4 Quest for Peace. So would I, even though I'm going to just be in agony watching them. I just want to check them out out of curiosity. I enjoyed Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Oh, I would respectfully disagree, but fair enough. And Superman Returns is my least favorite Superman movie. I sort of disagree. I'm not going as far as saying Superman Returns is the worst. That would be Superman 4 for me. But yeah, Superman Returns was a waste of time, a reboot that did nothing special, unlike Man of Steel, which did everything special. And Jared Butler has had so many action movies recently that his career has become a joke. Well, I would completely disagree. He has had some exceptions in his career. You know, Stoic in the House of Train Your Dragon trilogy, and Christopher Nolan is the best movie director. Come on, that's not unpopular whatsoever. Everybody would say Christopher Nolan is one of the greats. I would overall disagree. I'm not saying he's the best of the best, but he is. But he may be in my top 10. I will have to give that some force. And Shrek is my husband. Unpopular opinion. Toy Story 4 is my favorite Toy Story movie. Oh, I couldn't disagree more. Sorry, Toy Story 4 would be my least favorite Toy Story movie without a shadow of a doubt. And Ethan Coe's Unpopular Opinions, I like Over the Hedge. Oh, I that's awesome, but I'm afraid I disagree. I don't think that's unpopular as such. I think the majority are kind to Over the Hedge. I mean, my rant on it was one of my most disliked rants. My dad loves R.I.P.D. I have still yet to see that movie, so I can't say whether I agree or not. But that's great. Your dad loves it that much. And Nintendo Fanatic 2001's Unpopular Opinions. Secret Life of Pets 2 is one of my top 10 animated movies of all time. Whoa, praise indeed. I would certainly disagree with that. So for me, Secret Life of Pets 2 is just one of the most forgettable and blandest animated movies I've ever seen, and messiest. It had no idea what storyline it wanted to focus on. I was bored by Joker 2019. Really? Oh, well, I do see where you're coming from, as Joker is not the most action-packed superhero movie, but it's not designed to be an action movie. That wouldn't work. It was meant to be a character study for Arthur Fleck. So, yeah, I would disagree. I was never bored for a single moment with Joker. And the Emoji Movie channel's Unpopular Opinions, Black Panther is pretty bad. Yeah, I think more and more people are calling Black Panther overrated these days, but I 100% disagree. Black Panther is anything but bad, in my opinion. Cars is the worst Pixar movie. If you mean Cars 2, then I would agree, but if you mean the first, then I would have to disagree. The nut job is great. Yeah, completely disagree. For me, the nut jobber was one of the most painful animated movies of 2014 to sit through, and the sequel was even worse. Not a big fan of Kung Fu Panda 1 or 3, so I guess you just love Kung Fu Panda 2. That one tends to be the fan favourite, so I can see why, but again, I would strongly disagree. Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2 are underrated, and were still pure awesome, and were still total awesomeness, as Poe would say. And Winter Soldier is good, but not amazing. Yeah, I would sort of disagree, but at the same time, I would agree that Winter Soldier is not one of the top 5 MCU movies, as everybody says it is. And Princess and the Frog is the worst Disney movie. Whoa, you hate Princess and the Frog with a passion. I I 1000% disagree. I mean, I I would sit through Princess and the Frog over all the Disney live action remakes and The Wild and Chicken Little any day, and uh, and Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame fans extra unpopular opinions. The Disney revival era is the best era of Disney. I would kind of disagree. I'd still say the Disney Renaissance from the 90s was their greatest era. And I may be biased because I'm a 90s kid. The Battle of the Five Armies is the best and is the best Hobbit movie and the most underrated Middle Earth movie. I wouldn't agree that it's the best Hobbit movie. That would be an unexpected journey for me, but it is the most underrated Middle Earth movie, so I half agree and disagree. The Thing 1982 is terrible and overrated. I have never seen it, so I can't comment just now. Moving on to some of the final unpopular opinions. Frozen 2 is a complete disaster. Oh, come on, I like Frozen 2. Why all the Frozen 2 hate? Yeah, sorry, respectfully disagree. Iron Man 2 is an underrated gem. Couldn't disagree more. I hate Iron Man 2 so much. Still the worst Marvel movie 10 years later. And I enjoy Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, couldn't disagree more. Also, yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is how not to make a superhero movie. And Cody Z's unpopular opinions, Onward and The Willabouts are the worst animated movies of 2020. Well, I have no thoughts on The Willabouts, but Onward, yeah, I strongly disagree. Scoob is far worse in my opinion, and Sponge House of Water is terrible. Yeah, I disagree. Sponge House of Water for me is at least fun, and Paramount Animation is the worst animation studio. Respectfully disagree. Paramount are not perfect, but at least I'd take them over Sony. And Sausage Party is abysmal, even worse than Norm of the North. I wouldn't say worse than Norm of the North, but yeah, it is the most bizarre movie and is overly praised. So yeah, I half agree, half disagree. And Mary Glass's unpopular opinions, Wonder Park is awesome. Yeah, respectfully disagree. I didn't care for Wonder Park. Knives Out is painfully average. Disagree. I've had my complaints about Rian Johnson in the past, but he made a tremendous comeback with Knives Out. Aladdin 2019 is underrated. I wouldn't say that's unpopular, as there are plenty who seem to defend the Aladdin remake last year, but I'm not one of them, so I would disagree. So that was your unpopular opinions. It goes to show that film is literally Marmite. You either love it or hate it, and nobody can tell you otherwise. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video. And if you have any more unpopular opinions, then please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. But please follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.